Global Alliance of National Human Rights Institutions. The Global Alliance of National Human Rights Institutions GANHRI, formerly known as the International Coordinating Committee of National Human Rights Institutions, sometimes shortened to the International Coordinating Committee (ICC), is a global network of national human rights institutions (NHRIs) administrative bodies set up to promote, protect, and monitor human rights in a given country. The GANHRI, whose full legal title is the Global Alliance for National Human Rights Institutions, coordinates the relationship between NHRIs and the United Nations human rights system, and is unique as the only non-UN body whose internal accreditation system, based on compliance with the 1993 Paris Principles, grants access to UN committees. Institutions accredited by the Subcommittee for Accreditation (SCA) of the GANHRI with a status meaning full compliance with the Paris Principles are usually accorded speaking rights and seating at human rights treaty bodies and other UN organs, mainly to the Human Rights Council. The GANHRI representative often presents statements on behalf of individual NHRIs or the regional groups. The GANHRI is constituted as a non-profit entity under Swiss law and has one member of staff representing it at the United Nations office at Geneva. Secretariat support is provided to the GANHRI by the National Institutions and Regional Mechanisms NERM unit of the Field Operations and Technical Cooperation Division of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights (OCHR). Additional work devolves on the NHRI elected to chair the network, currently chaired since 2016 by Dr. Beat Rudolph from the German Institute for Human Rights, and on the regional chairs of the GANHRI's 4 regional networks. The GANHRI holds annual general meetings usually in Geneva in March, coinciding with the UN Human Rights Council session, and a biennial thematic international conference, the 10th conference, hosted in 2010 by the Scottish Human Rights Commission, was on the theme of business and human rights. The last international conference to date was held in Mérida, Mexico, in October 2015 and focused on the Sustainable Development Goals and on the topic of what role for national human rights institutions. The peer review process for initial accreditation and re-accreditation every 5 years is managed by a subcommittee consisting of 1 representative of each of the regional networks. Magali Lafourcade is the current Subcommittee on Accreditation chairperson. According to the last accreditation status document released in January 2017, there were a total of 117 institutions that have been accredited by the GANHRI. 74 of those NHRIs were accredited with a status by the GANHRI and are thus entitled to vote or hold office in the GANHRI or its regional groups, regional groupings of NHRIs. Network of African National Human Rights Institutions (NHRI). Asia-Pacific Forum of National Human Rights Institutions (APF). European Network of National Human Rights Institutions (INHRI). Network of National Institutions in the Americas. Working Groups. GANHRI Working Group on Business and Human Rights.